What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting into my Houston Texans 2023-2024 season predictions. We're going to have a little bit of an interesting series here. I'm going to be making every single team predictions. I tried to do this last year. Didn't. I did it a little bit too late, so I wasn't able to get it what I wanted, but we're going to do it this year since I really last year I made like no summer videos. We got to have something here, I think, for the summer. And this, I think, is a good thing to have for the summer, is getting prepared for this NFL season. And I think this is going to be a fun series here. We're going to start out with the AFC South Conference. And that is starting out with the Houston Texans. So let's get into it. And by the way, at the end of this, once we get to the end, I'll make like a full video of my whole predictions and see who makes the playoffs. But anyway, let's dive into this Houston Texans season. And here we go, starting out with the first game, and it's on the road against Baltimore. That's a tough game to start out the season on. Baltimore's a really good team. I think that they're going to drop that one. Then we got a game against the Colts. I'm not sure if Anthony Richardson is going to be starting for this one or not. We'll see if he starts at the beginning of the year. But C.J. Stroud versus Richardson, I do think at home the Texans are the better team. They'll be able to win. And then you got another tough game, the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence. I think you're going to drop that one. A big game here. You try and get to 2-2. I don't think it happens. You lose to Pittsburgh, the Steelers, really good team. Always year in, year out. I think they're going to drop one to Pittsburgh. Then we got the next matchup between the Texans and the Falcons. And I think that the Falcons are going to win this one. I think that the Falcons are going to be a better team than a lot of people anticipate. And I think the Texans struggle against Atlanta right there. And then here we go. We got the Saints, Texas. You're 1-4 right now. I think you drop one again. So the Texans, I think, start out the year 1-5. Not good, especially since they traded away their first round pick. So yeah, I mean, this is the worst case scenario. You're expecting some improvement, but I think going into the bye, it's going to be a struggle. These are some tough matchups, I think, and I think that the Texans are going to start out slow at 1-5. Let's see, though. There's still plenty of season. Let's see if they can get back on track here. We got a game versus the Panthers. I am going to go with Carolina. That's 3 South. Now that make it 4. Apparently, they just all play their NFC teams in a row here, but we got the fourth one again. The Buccaneers versus the Texans. Can they get an NFC conference win here? I think they can. At home against Tampa Bay. I think that they'll finally be able to win against the Buccaneers, who I think is just kind of an overrated team this season. They're not very good with Baker Mayfield. I think that they're going to struggle. I think that the Texans can win that one. Get their second win of the season. That puts Houston, you see, they're at 2-6. Cincinnati, though, I think you're going to drop that one. That's just too tough of a game. But then it gets Arizona. Arizona, I think, is going to suck this season. That should be a win, I think, for Houston. I think C.J. Stroud and this defense with D'Amico Ryans is going to show some improvement. As the season goes along, that's what I'm trying to show here. But against the Jaguars, I think they do get swept by the Jaguars in that season series. I just don't think they're good enough to beat them. And then you got the Broncos. And the Broncos, I'm a team that I believe in the Broncos. But the Broncos, I think, play the Chiefs the next week or some important matchup. Or the Chargers, I think. And I think that that's going to hold the Broncos back. I think it's going to be a little bit of a trap game scenario here. And I think the Texans will be able to get the Broncos in that one. We see trap games all the time in the NFL. And the Broncos can do it. So you move on to 4-8. There's still a little bit of hope to maybe like go on a run and make a crazy playoff appearance. But we'll see if that can happen. You got the next game against the Jets. I do think you lose to New York. And then the Titans on the road, I think you drop one to Tennessee. You got a game against them soon, though. We'll see if you can get their revenge. Another game against the Browns. I think another trap game scenario. The Browns are looking to make the playoffs at this point. I think they'll, spoiler alert, I think they'll be in that position, but I do think it's going to be a little bit rough. I mean, I think that they'll be able to win that one just barely. So that puts them at 5-10 for the last few games of the season. You got two division rivalry games. Can you maybe get to like 7-10? Show some improvement this year? I don't think so. I think you lose to Tennessee on the road. I think Tennessee sweeps you along with Jacksonville. I just think that the Titans are an underrated team this season. And Houston, I think, still very young team, still a lot of work to do. The Titans, I think, at that point are going to be out kind of in the mix for the postseason. We'll see when we get to them in our video. But the Titans, I think, will be able to beat the Texans. And then I think that you don't sweep the Colts. I think that the Colts even you out. Anthony Richardson at that point, I think he would probably be starting. We'll see what happens. But that is the Texans. So not a whole lot. They finished 5-12 on the season. So probably not what Texans fans kind of wanted. I mean, that is not great. So don't listen to these. I'm just going to take a rundown of kind of like the conference rank and stuff. The conference rank, 5-12 will get them the last spot in the conference, believe it or not. I think this is a very good AFC conference, and I think 5-12 is going to get them at 16th. So the worst team in the conference, again, this year, I still think is the Texans. You see that 5-12 record. That is that percent. The division, very rough for them. They're 1-5. I think it's going to be rough. This division isn't the greatest, but I think that the Titans and the Jaguars sweep them, like I said. And I don't think that you sweep the Colts. So kind of a rough division right there. But moving on, we got the conference. I do think that they can finish 3-9 in the conference, which means they go 2-3 in the NFC. So not bad. And then you look at here, 5-4 at home, 0-8 on the road. Now I know that's unlikely, but I still play the home field advantage. This isn't as more of a realistic. It's just me predicting who I think is going to win on a week by week basis. I don't think that they win any on the road now. You could probably say they're like 4-5 at home, 1-7 on the road. That would be fine, but yeah. Versus winning teams, don't listen to this. They are 2-5 versus winning teams here. So they only play winning teams 7 times in the real thing. But they go 3-7 against the losing team, which is just the same right there. I think that that's what's going to happen with Houston. I think that they could play spoiler on any given week, but I think that they can lose to just about anybody. Versus playoff teams, their 5 losses versus winning were all playoff teams, so I don't think that they beat a single playoff team in this. The strength of schedule is strength of victory, 0.376, or 0.376, and then their strength of schedule is 0.471. So those are the stat rundown. That is the Houston Texans season predictions. Let me know, Texans fans, what you think. I do think you show a little bit of improvement this season. I think you start out a little bit bad, but I think that 5-12, somewhat realistic for Houston. I mean, this team still has a lot of holes on their roster. I think that's a realistic outcome. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your thoughts.